So students, today we are going to start with the chapter that is measurement of matter. Okay, from science part 1, chapter number 4, measurement of matter. In this chapter, we will be learning about laws of chemical combination. What is atom? What is the shape of the atom? What is the mass and valency of the atom? Molecular mass and the concept of mole, and about the radicals. Okay, so let us begin the chapter. Can you recall what is a Dalton's atomic theory? How are the compounds formed? And what are the molecular formula of salt, liquid lime, water, lime, limestone? So students, these are 3 questions for you. Quickly type the answers in the chat box. Those who know the answer, you can type in the chat box. We will be discussing on this 3 questions first before going to the chapter. Okay. So students, see, Dalton, he was a scientist who proposed that matter is made up of very small particles, right? You know, matter is having very small particles. And do you know what we call this, that small particles as? Anybody? Yes, give the answer in the chat box. Atoms. Very good, Riya. Answer is correct. What we call that small particles of matter? Atoms. Okay. So what Dalton did, he proposed that matter is made up of very small particles. And these small particles are called as what? Atoms. So how the atom is? It is hard. It is a solid ball, just like your football. Okay. Very hard. It is solid ball. And it is the smallest unit of matter. It is being the smallest unit of matter, we cannot divide it. So it is indivisible. This was at Dalton's theory. Okay. Once again, I'll repeat what Dalton said. What he proposed, that matter is made up of very small particles, and these small particles are called as atoms. And every atom is very hard and solid ball. It looks like a hard and solid ball. You have drawn the diagram of atom, right? In your 8th standard. Yes or no? Atom, you have marked the nucleus, protons, neutrons. Yes or no? You have drawn the shells. Yes, orbits. Yes. So you do, you know how the atom is. It is very hard and solid ball. Okay. And being the smallest unit of matter, it is indivisible. We cannot divide it. Okay. Yes, in everything atom is there, Anup Shukla. Yes, every matter is made up of atom. Okay. Now, how are the compounds formed? Now, my next question is, how are the compounds formed? The answers, I got very few answers from you. I want all of you to participate in this. Okay, students, so I have checked the answers. Some have written the proper answer, that is, how are the compounds formed? The compounds are formed by a chemical reaction of different elements. What is the answer? How the compounds are formed? Compounds are formed by chemical reaction of different elements. You know, 2 elements will react together and form a compound. For example, salt. Okay, salt is what? A compound formed by 2 elements, that is sodium and chlorine. Yes or no? So sodium and chlorine will react chemically and form the compound called sodium chloride, NaCl. So how the compounds are formed? They are formed by a chemical reaction of different elements. Okay. Next question is, what are the molecular formula of salt, liquid lime, water, lime, lime? Now here many questions are there. You have to write the molecular formula. Okay. Okay, Ganesh Shukla has given the correct answer. First answer, everyone knows. Everyone can write. Yes. Third answer is also very easy. Water and salt. Remaining also. Okay. Good. Good participation. I got some of the answers from you. Okay, very good. Shriddhi, Ganesh Shukla, Ranjana, Vedant. Okay, all the students. Okay, Vedant, salt you have written wrong. Okay, it is NaCl. Okay, calcium carbonate. Okay, Rohan, limestone. Limestone is nothing but calcium carbonate. Okay, so let me tell you salt. How we will write NaCl. N should be capital. Some have written small letter N. Change it and write it capital letter N. NaCl. Slaked lime is nothing but calcium hydroxide. So how we can write CaOH twice. Okay. Very good, Soumya. You have given the right answer. Water. Water is written as H2O. And lime. Lime is calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice. And limestone is calcium carbonate, CaCO3. Okay, calcium carbonate, CaCO3. Once again, I'll repeat. Those who want to write it down. Salt is NaCl. What is the molecular formula of salt? NaCl. Slaked lime, CaOH twice. Water, H2O. Okay. And lime, CaOH twice. Calcium hydroxide, and limestone, calcium carbonate. That is CaCO3. Okay. So these are the answers, molecular formulas. Okay. Now let us move to the next slide. Law of chemical combination. What is this law stating? Okay. Now let us study about that. Okay. You have studied in your previous class how the compounds are formed, right? By chemical combination of elements. You also learned about Dalton's theory. Just now we revised it, correct? So in that theory, you studied that molecules of compound, how they are formed? They are formed by joining atoms of different elements, correct? So now what is the law of chemical combination stating? The law states that the composition of a substance changes during a chemical change. Okay, so what it states that composition of a substance will change during a chemical change. Okay, so the fundamental experiments in this regard were performed by scientists in the 18th and 19th century. So some scientists did many experiments based on this, whether it really changes or not, whether the composition of substance is changing or not. Whenever chemical change occurs, what happens? The quantity, amount of substance will change. Reactants is not equivalent to product. Okay, so there is change in the composition. So while doing this, what they did, they measured the quantity, measured accurately the substances used and substances formed, that is reactants and products. You know, in a chemical reaction, we are having reactants and written to the left hand side, products to the right hand side. So they measured the reactants, Na plus Cl. Okay, is it same as NaCl or is it decreasing or increasing? So in this way, many scientists like Dalton, Thomson, Rutherford, they all studied about the structure of substances and the atom. And what they discovered? They discovered the laws of chemical combination. Correct? So in this way, they discovered the laws of chemical combination. So scientists could then write the molecular formula of various compounds. What they did? After doing this, they returned the formula. Just now you told me, na, molecular formula of salt, NaCl, water, H2O. Similarly, scientists, what they did? They wrote the formulas of various compounds. How they wrote? Using the help of what? Dalton's atomic theory. They took the help of Dalton's atomic theory as well as laws of chemical combination and wrote the molecular formula, right? So here we shall verify now how, whether it is right or wrong. We have to verify the laws of chemical combination by means of known molecular formula. Whatever molecular formula we know, na, from that we will be verifying. Correct? So we are going to verify now the law of chemical combination. Now there is a short activity for you students. Okay, that is given in your textbook. That is verification of laws of chemical combination. Now before that, whatever you can see in the screen, can see in the screen, that you have to write in the chat box. That means name of the apparatus, name of the chemicals, whatever you can see for this experiment, what all things we need, whatever it is labeled there. Just you have to see and write it in the chat box. Okay, I will give you time, 1 or 2 minutes, complete it, then I will be coming back to you. Okay, students? Okay, I see many answers. Okay, some of the answers are correct. Some have combined chemicals and apparatus and written. Okay, whenever you are writing this now, you have to write the apparatus separately and chemicals separately. Okay, now what are the apparatus used here? Conical flask, test tube, balance, etc. What is the apparatus used, students? Conical flask. You can see the conical flask over here. Okay, which is a conical flask? I will be showing you. Okay, so this is a conical flask, right? You all know. Yes, so this is a conical flask. Then what else? Test tube. Where is the test tube? Is it outside the conical flask or inside? Inside. Very good, Ria. It is inside. Okay. Then test tube you got. Then balance. Balance is shown down. Yes, this is the balance. Okay. So all the three apparatus you have written together. Now next what we need? We need the chemicals. Yes, to conduct the activity what we need? Chemicals. So chemicals are there, no? The chemicals you have written it, calcium chloride. Okay, you can see calcium chloride over here. Solution of calcium chloride, CaCl2. In the screen you can see. Yes. Then what else we need? We need sodium sulfate. Where is sodium sulfate? Inside the test tube. Solution of sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. Yes. So this way we got the chemical and the apparatus. All have seen it? Sure. Okay. So now let us move to the main experiment. Okay. What we have to do here? First of all, take a solution of calcium chloride in a conical flask and a solution of sodium sulfate in a test tube. Tie a thread to the test tube and insert it in the conical flask. Seal the conical flask with an airtight rubber cork. Weigh the conical flask using a balance. Now tilt the conical flask so that the solution in the test tube gets poured in the conical flask. Now weigh the conical flask again. Okay, so this is a procedure of the experiment. Okay, once again I'll repeat what we have to do. We have to take calcium chloride in conical flask and solution of sodium sulfate in a test tube. Now the test tube, how you can insert it inside conical flask? By tying a thread. Okay, and insert it inside the conical flask. You can see a test tube inside the conical flask. Yes or no, students? So test tube is inside the conical flask. So we cannot directly put your hand inside. So tie a thread and do that. Okay, and seal the conical flask with an airtight rubber cork. You can see a rubber cork over here. So that rubber cork should be very tight so that no air will enter inside it. So that way it should be sealed. Okay, then after that what we have to do? You have to take the weight of the conical flask. Okay, how you can take the weight? Can you see the reading, students? What is the reading in the balance shown? Let me see how many of you read it. Write in the chat box how much grams it is written. Very good, Soumya. 300.23 grams. Okay. Very good, Abusad, Ayushi, Bhakti. Okay, so you all have taken the weight of the conical flask, correct? And it is how much now? 300.23 grams. Okay, so that is the weight of the conical flask. So that is the first part of it. Now tilt the conical flask so that solution in the test tube gets poured in the conical flask. So what you have to do? Tilt the conical flask. So inside the test tube, there's a solution of sodium sulfate. It should mix with calcium chloride. Now, what will happen when it will mix with calcium chloride? Yes? Can anybody tell me what will happen? Yes? Okay, Aditi, you are right. It will change the color. That is, chemical reaction will take place. It will mix and chemical reaction occurs. Okay, now, and then take the weight of the conical flask again. What you found after mixing, there's a change in the color. What is formed? Calcium chloride will react with sodium sulfate and white precipitate of calcium sulfate is formed. Calcium sulfate is white in color. It is a precipitate. Now, students, what do you mean by precipitate? Precipitate means whatever settles down, okay, in the test, in the conical flask, okay, that white particles, that is called as precipitate. You have to weigh again the conical flask. Take the weight in the balance. Now check again. What is the weight, students? White precipitate of calcium sulfate in sodium chloride. We got it. Can anybody tell me what is the weight now? Yes, Rohan, it is correct. 300.23. So Rohan, can you tell me, is it same or different? Has it increased or decreased or no change in the weight? Yes, it is same, Vedant. You are right. It is same. No change. Very good, Rohan. No change. So no change in weight. So from this activity, what you learned, students, today, that there is no change in the reactants and products. Okay, in the weight. Okay, that means what? So from this, that's why this law is called as law of chemical combination. This is a verification of law of chemical combination. So when you added calcium chloride to sodium sulfate, you got a white precipitate of calcium sulfate in sodium chloride solution. Okay, calcium reacted with sulfate ions and formed calcium sulfate, and sodium reacted with chloride ions. So you got the solution of sodium chloride. But when you weighed it, what you found? The weight is same. Okay, 300.23 grams in both the balance, right? You can see the two balance. So from this, you verified what? Law of chemical combination. Okay, so I hope you all understood how we verified it, correct? Now next, law of conservation of matter. Now let us learn what is law of conservation of matter. Okay, so in this activity, in the above activity, what you found, that the mass of the original matter and the mass of the matter newly formed as a result of chemical change, both are equal. So in 1785, in the year 1785, there was a French scientist. What was his name? Antony Lavoisier. Okay, Antony Lavoisier, he concluded in research, or he inferred in his research, that there is no rise or drop in the weight of the matter. During a chemical reaction, there will be no rise or drop in the weight of the matter. So in a chemical reaction, what we can say, total weight of the reactants is same as the weight of the products, total weight of the products formed during the chemical reactions. And this is called as law of conservation of matter. What we can say about this? What is this law? This law is called as law of conservation of matter, because there is no change in the reactants, no change in the products. Okay, so I hope everyone understood this law. Yes or no, students? Okay. Now next is about law of constant proportion. Now you can see in the screen the two scientists, Proust and Lavoisier. Okay, so in 1794, the French scientist J.L. Proust, he stated the law of constant proportion. And what is the statement? The proportion by weight of the constant elements in the various samples of a compound is fixed. Now, what is meant by proportion by weight of constant elements? For example, in water, if we'll take water, the proportion of hydrogen and oxygen in water is always 1:8. Okay, 1:8. This means what? 9 gram of water is formed by chemical combination of 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 gram of oxygen. So 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 gram of oxygen together will form how much water? 9 gram of water. This is the proportion, 1:8. Okay, this you were not knowing till now. So what is the law stating? Law of constant proportion stating that proportion by weight of the constant elements in the various samples of a compound is fixed. In every sample, maybe sodium chloride, maybe water, we'll take note that it will be constant. Okay, so 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 gram of oxygen in water. Similarly, if we'll take carbon dioxide, CO2. So carbon dioxide, what will be the ratio? Carbon will be 3 and oxygen will be 8. Okay, 3:8. Okay, if you're taking 44 gram of carbon dioxide, there will be 12 gram of carbon and 32 gram of oxygen. So in that way, proportion by weight of carbon and oxygen will be always 3:8. Okay, so this is called as law of constant proportion. Okay, so now if we'll talk about Lavoisier, next scientist here, I've shown you another scientist. Who is this scientist? Lavoisier. First one was Proust. Okay, what Proust found out, students? Tell me the answer in the chat box. What he found, which law he found? Law of, yes, who will give the answer in the chat box? French scientist Proust. Constant proportion. Very good, Rohan, Sanchit. Constant proportion. Now, what about the next scientist? What he proposed? Okay, now next scientist is Lavoisier. Okay, now Lavoisier, he was also a French scientist and he was a father of modern chemistry. Okay, so he had contributed a lot of things for chemistry, biology, economics, and all. Okay, he was a famous scientist and he named the oxygen and hydrogen. The main thing is that he named the oxygen atom and hydrogen atom. Nomenclature of oxygen and hydrogen was given by Lavoisier. Okay. Next thing, he showed that matter combines with oxygen during combustion. What he showed? That matter will combine with oxygen. Combustion means what? Whenever burning occurs, matter will combine with oxygen. Okay. What else he did? He was the first to use accurate weighing techniques. Now, just now we studied how to weigh the reactants and products. So Lavoisier, he was the first person who studied the weight of reactants and products, right? He also discovered that water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so many things he did. So he discovered water, he gave the name of oxygen and hydrogen, and he was the first person who discovered water is made up of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. He also assigned the names to the compounds. Which names? Sulfuric acid, sulfate, sulfite, all these names were given. Okay. He was an author also. He wrote a book. And what is the name of that book? Modern Chemistry. Which book he wrote, students? What is the name of the book wrote by Lavoisier? Write in the chat box. What is the name of the book he wrote? Just now I told you. Very good, Ayushi. Modern Chemistry. Okay, and he studied many elements like oxygen, he studied about hydrogen, he studied about nitrogen, phosphorus, mercury, zinc, sulfur. So different elements he studied. He was also a writer. Yes, I told you, he was author and he was the first writer of what? Law of conservation of mass in a chemical reaction. Okay, law of conservation of mass occurs. So if he wrote about it, right? So in this way, he did many things. So it was just an introduction about the scientist Anthony Lavoisier. I hope you all learned many things about both the scientists, that is Proust and Lavoisier. Okay. So now moving to the next slide, students. Okay. Now let us learn about atom, its size, mass, and its valence. Okay. Now you have already learned that at the center of an atom, what is present? Nucleus. Yes or no? Nucleus is always present at the center of the atom, and there are also electrons moving in the extranuclear part. Okay, so you had drawn it last year. Draw a diagram of atom with electrons. So the electrons, what is the charge of electrons? Can you give the answer in the chat box? What is the charge of electron? Negative charge. Very good, Aditi. The electrons are always negatively charged particles. Okay. And there are also some positively charged particles. Can you name them? What is the positively charged particles called in the atom? Protons. Very good, Shriddhi. You are right. Okay, protons are positively charged particles. Okay, electrons are negatively charged. Protons are positively charged. Now, what about neutrons? Is there any charge for neutrons? Yes, what is the charge then, Soumya? Give the answer. Shamli has given the answer. No, yes. Neutral. Neutral. What it is? Neutral means no charge. Neither positive nor negative. It is neutral. Neutrons are neutral. Correct? Now, what about the size of the atom? How we can determine the size of the atom? By its, yes, radius. From its radius. Very good, Sanchit. We can find the size of the atom by measuring the radius. You know, in geometry and all, you are drawing the circle. If I'm telling you to draw a circle with the radius 5 centimeter, it will be easy for you, no? 5 centimeter you have to measure and draw the circle. So from the radius, we will come to know the size of the atom. Yes. So the atomic radius of an isolated atom is what? It is the distance between the nucleus of the atom and its outermost orbit. Okay, there are many orbits, sometimes one orbit, sometimes two orbit. In some elements, there are 3 orbits, 4 orbits. So size of the atom is changing in different elements. Yes, very good, Soumya. There are 4 shells, K, L, M, and N. You remember it? Yes, last year you did about this. So atomic radius is nothing but it is the distance between nucleus and its outermost orbit. Okay. Now, what is how it is expressed? There should be some unit, no? Very good, Ayushi. Nanometers. All this you should remember it, students. What is the unit for atomic radius? Nanometers. Okay. Mark it and keep it. Okay. So now, so what you can say, the mass of the atom is concentrated in its nucleus, and it is due to what? Protons and neutrons. So protons we can label as P, neutrons as N, small letter P and N. So when you will add P plus N, that means protons plus neutron. Okay. In the nucleus, there is protons and neutrons. So when you will add it, what you are getting it? No, Sudhir, not atomic number. You are getting atomic mass number. Okay, what you're getting now? Atomic mass number. So if I am telling you, suppose proton is 5, neutron is 6. What is atomic mass number, students? Calculate and tell me. Proton is 5, neutron is 6. 11. Very good, Sriram Kohli. It's 11. Suppose proton is 4 and neutron is 2. What is the answer? Proton is 4, neutron is 2. Very good, Akansha. It's correct, 6. What is the answer? 6. That is atomic mass number. So what you can say about atomic mass number? It is the total number of protons and neutron. Now you understood how we have to calculate atomic mass number? Okay. Now what about protons and neutrons together? What we call it as? There's a particular name for it. Protons and neutrons are together called as nucleons, not nucleus. What it is? Nucleons. In the screen you can see, yes, nucleons, spelling of nucleons, correct? So that is about, that is the some information about the atom. I hope very well you all understood about atom. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Now you have to write the definition of atomic mass number and nucleons in the chat box. Okay. What is atomic mass number and what are nucleons? Quickly write in the chat box. Students? Okay. Now let us move to the next part, that is, first let us see how the atom is. Now when we will say about atom, speak about atom, it is very tiny. You cannot see it directly with your naked eyes. Okay, so it is very small, no? So how we can determine its mass? Have you thought about it? How to find the mass of such a small element? No, microscope. With microscope, Soumya, how it is possible? Microscope is for seeing atom, but mass, how we will find out? Okay, so it was not possible for many scientists in the 19th century to measure the accurate mass. Okay, so what they did, they made a concept called relative mass of an atom that was put forth. So a reference atom was required for this. Okay, for expressing relative mass of an atom. So which atom they took? Hydrogen atom. Hydrogen, you know, it is very lightest atom, and it was chosen as a reference atom. Okay, so relative mass of a hydrogen atom has only one proton in its nucleus. What it has? Only one proton. So that was accepted as 1. And therefore, magnitude of relative atomic mass of various atoms became equal to the atomic mass number. Okay, that is P plus N. Okay, now let us see how to express the relative mass of nitrogen atom. If you are taking hydrogen as 1, so mass of one nitrogen atom is how much? 14 times that of hydrogen. Correct? So therefore, the relative mass of nitrogen is what? 14. Okay. So in this way, they calculated the mass. So this is how relative atomic mass of various elements was determined. Okay. So on this scale, relative atomic masses of many elements came out to be fractional. Sometimes what they got? In fractions. Okay, so different atoms were chosen. So finally, in the year 1961, a carbon atom was selected. What was selected after hydrogen? We use carbon atom. Okay, so carbon atom was selected. So in this scale, the relative mass of carbon atom, how much it was accepted as? 12. What it was accepted as? 12. Hydrogen was taken as 1. No? So after hydrogen, then which another atom was taken? Carbon. So the relative atomic mass of one hydrogen compared to carbon, it will be how much? 12 into 1 upon 12. Okay, 1 divided by 12. That will be how much? 12 get cancelled. So what is left now? Only 1. Yes, what is the answer? 12 into 1 upon 12, students? 1. So mass of one proton and one neutron on the scale of relative atomic mass is how much now? 1. Okay, so this is how relative atomic masses were taken. Okay, now there is one table given over there.